Now, we spoke about the fact that human consciousness is a form of awareness, right? Now we need to expand on it a little bit, right? What is the difference between human consciousness and all kinds of other awarenesses, right? If you think of the microbiome in your gut, it's a form of awareness. It reacts differently to different kinds of foods. So it has an awareness, but it doesn't have free choice. The sunflower moves as the sun moves from east to west, at least in most places. It moves with the sun. It doesn't have a free choice. It doesn't wake up one morning and says, you know what, today I'm not gonna move around. Yeah, forget it. Don't feel like it. There's no free choice, but it is an awareness. Higher forms of awareness, take for instance lions, right? It's a much higher form of awareness. Lions hunt only when they're hungry. You rarely see a lion hunt for sport. So it has free choice, but the free choice is very limited. It supports its basic needs. The higher the awareness, the more freedom of choice it has. So supposedly, humans, they have the most free choice. That's what a lot of philosophies talk about. But we just realized in the last few episodes that our real free choice is not as wide and not as common as we tend to tell ourselves. It's not completely free. There's a big factor of automation there. So we gradually start to realize that our real free choice is a lot more limited than we tend to believe. So the question is, how do we expand it? And how do we live in a world where we have real free choice and not the illusion of it? Because a lot of our free choice, as we learned in the last chapter, it's an illusion. We tell ourselves a story. It's really a drive that drives us, and we're subject to it, and it comes from our wounding, from our pain, from our past, from all kinds of places. So let's understand a little bit deeper how this structure works. Our consciousness is comprised from two parts. There is the unconscious self. Now, what is the unconscious self? The unconscious self includes the subconscious and the higher self. Now, think about it this way. Who beats our heart? Who pumps our blood? Who operates our glands? Where do all our suppressed fears suppressed? Where does the shadow reside? Where does our shame hide? It all happens in our unconscious self. Now, some in the subconscious, and again, some other functions in the higher self, but together they comprise the unconscious self. We have limited influence on all those factors until we become aware, and on some of them, we don't have influence. We can somewhat regulate our heart, but we can't completely stop it, or we can't accelerate it above a certain level. Why? Because we don't have access to it. We can't stop pumping our blood, unless we take some extreme measures, of course. We don't have much influence. We can somewhat influence some of the factors, but most of the functions of the unconscious self, we don't have access to, and we're not conscious of it. Now, the autopilot lives in the unconscious self until we become gradually more and more conscious of it. Our unconscious self operates much more than we realize. Now that I'm talking about it, it expands your realization, first of its existence, and second of all kinds of aspects of you that it operates. But it actually operates a lot more than you can imagine.